Hi everyone, it's Miss Akvari in the library. I wanted to tell you a little bit about the book The Gilded Ones by the author Namina Forna. This book is from our fantasy section, so that means it has a lot of information about magic. The story has a lot of magical influences in it, things that are unreal and different. And in this case, the world that this book is set in is very different from our own. In fact, you can see it has a map, which I think is kind of cool. And as you read the story, you kind of learn this is a little bit like when our world was just a couple continents. It was one big continent and then it kind of broke up. That's similar to what's happening here. So there's a northern land, there's a southern land, and then there's sort of a western land. The northern land is sort of like North America or Europe, where it's colder, people have lighter skin and those sorts of traits. And then the western land is a little bit like South America. There's some jungle, mountains, and then the southern land is a little bit like the continent of Africa, people that have darker skin, and the climate is a lot warmer and sometimes drier. So that is kind of interesting to refer back to as you read. In this book, the main character that you see on the cover, her name is Dika, and Dika's father is from the northern lands. She lives in the northern lands. Her father had fought in the southern land and brought her mother back with him to the northern land, and so Dika's already kind of a standout where she lives because she doesn't look like everyone else, and there's a lot of distrust around her family. People don't think that's normal, and it makes them very uncomfortable. And then within her village, there's this ritual that happens on a certain day of each year for people of a certain age, and it's called a purity ritual, and they check your blood to see what color it is. And it's supposed to be red, that's the pure color, but if it's gold, you're sent away. And so Dika finds out that she does have gold blood. It's a surprise to everyone, and she gets taken away. And all kinds of horrible things happen. There's a lot more to it than that, but I don't want to give it away. But what ends up happening is Dika is given a choice. She can stay in the northern territory where she is and kind of be in this really awful place where maybe she's being tortured or she's being treated like a second-class citizen, or she can go to the southern lands and train to become a warrior, a fighter. And so Dika makes the choice to become part of the Aleki, which is this force, and so she learns all kinds of, goes through all kinds of physical training. She learns combat, and starts to realize that there's a lot more to her than what she knew. So she has a lot of supernatural and magical gifts that she didn't know about. So it's a really fascinating fantasy story. It's really interesting in detail. There's a lot of interesting twists and turns. So if you like a book about magic, if you like a book where the characters kind of trying to find their path, or if you're interested in why some characters get discriminated against, but maybe how they turn that to their advantage, I think you'll like reading the book The Gilded Ones.